Yeah.
Deshaun Watson went on Quincy Avery's podcast yesterday,
What?
which is now posted online. You can listen to it.
Okay.
And he said a couple things that were interesting. We're going to focus on one today, but we'll start with the stuff that isn't our focus. He said, it's not a cliche. I genuinely really like the city of Cleveland.
And it sounded
reminds
legit.
me a lot of League of Clemson. Sounded legit. He praised Kevin Stefanski and his play calling abilities, which is something we've obviously discussed a lot. But, Steve, you can take tagboard full. This is the tweet that kind of went off yesterday and the comment he made that got people thinking. And I tweeted it out. Deshaun Watson says he'll be, quote, in the same area as Deandre Hopkins this weekend on the Q podcast with Quincy Avery. Take that as you want, Browns fans.
What's the context of him, like?
That was it, I think.
No, but was there, like,
So
what was the question?
Quincy asked Deshaun, or it got brought up that Quincy was with Deshaun when Hopkins said he wants out of Arizona. And Quincy broke that news to Deshaun, and Deshaun goes, yeah, I heard about that. I haven't talked to him yet, but we're going to be in the same area this weekend. Kind of hinting at the fact that he may put a little recruitment or a little nugget in his ear.
Was there a video, or was this just audio?
Just audio.
Okay,
And
so
the
you
audio,
couldn't tell if he had a sly look on his face.
You could not tell if there was a smile. It was
Okay.
just audio. And to be honest, the audio wasn't elite audio. It sounded like he was on a phone
It was
in
not
a car driving.
UCSS
It
quality
was not
audio.
UCSS quality. It was like early first day of UCSS quality.
Not even that good.
If you guys remember that. But that got a lot of people on Twitter talking about a possible reunion between Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. And G, you were the first one to comment on my tweet saying, let's make this happen.
Yeah, listen,
I don't think this means anything.
No.
It might not, but you know what I learned about the power of this television thing right here?
What is it?
You say it enough times, it becomes factual.
Oh, Jedi mind trick.
Hey, Deshaun, listen, if you're going to be out there, it's no harm if you pull up on your guy.
Pull up.
You know, they did take a look at some of those old films y'all had with the Texans and, you know, how good that was and how y'all was connecting. And then maybe that might, you know, just bring up some things about how his services could be possibly used here in Cleveland.
So to Jay's question last week, you have to listen to your top dog, right? He's got some, he's got some familiarity with people.
Right.
And this kind of talk and banter goes on all the time. It's not, what they be talking about, you tamper, you're not tampering. I'm talking to a friend of mine, right? He the one that put it out in the wind about the ethos about, man, I don't like it down here. Okay, don't you? Well, could you like it in Cleveland? I'm going to ask you that. Because there are some people that you play with that you just have a certain rapport with.
Yeah, that conversation's definitely taking place.
I could go back today, 30 years later, and line up with Dennis Hopkins just like it was 1984. Right? Like we were at Ohio State together. I could do that today I wouldn't blink an eye because you get to know somebody. You get to know how they work. Yeah. And I might have seen you for a while, but down deep, I know what you do.
Man, look, Jamar Chase and the Bengals, people don't realize he sat out a year. Jamar Chase didn't even play in the NCAAs. He sat out a year and then came back. Joe Burrow said, let me get him. Some of them throws they throwing, that's ESP. That's like we've been doing this pitch and catch forever.
Forever.
He's there. I'm throwing. I'm like, there's no way you could throw this football there. And he throw it there and then get it there.
Well, they had a touchdown against the Browns that just looked like an accident. But Chase knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, is it worth it though?
It is.
Is it
Is it
worth it?
Bull has talked a lot about his mental state, about making sure that he gets over these hurdles.
Come on, keep coming.
The way you do that is to put him in a very comfortable environment.
Keep coming.
Give him things that remind him of his success, and that guy's one of them.
I'm really torn about this, guys. There's part of me that's like, that's his guy. He's a Hall of Fame player. They should go get him. The other part of me says, the Browns, if they make a move for a big-time wide receiver, they can't get it wrong.
No, they can't.
And Hopkins is going to be 31 at the beginning of this year. He had a PED suspension this year. He had missed time due to injury the season before.
Right.
But when he came back, what did you see?
He was good.
He was great.
I don't know that he wasn't the player he once was. He's no longer super elite. I think he's still very good. My concern is wide receivers don't generally age well. How many really top-notch 31-year-old receivers are there?
What's the alternative?
Well, there's a lot of potential alternatives.
See, I think you have to go with the closest thing to a can't miss that you can find.
But is he at this point in his career?
Name a better option, and I'll listen.
I mean, Well, I think there are. I mean, I don't know who's going to end up being cut here due to cap casualties, but I think in terms of like free agency, I think Keenan Allen might become available, and at least with Keenan Allen, I don't have to give up assets to get him.
Well,
He's
the one
old
thing
too.
I think the one thing that
I know that, but at least I'm not with Deandre Hopkins. I've got to pay him $20 million a year because he's owed $20 million a year. Plus, I got to give up pretty good assets to get him.
Definitely
the
have to
one
give
thing
up.
that we're missing out on, the familiarity piece.
Right.
I don't have time to keep learning new people. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I got to get right here, right?
Right.
And
I want his mind right.
That's what I'm saying. When I'm talking about getting right, you better align me with some people that I know that I have a built-in support system here, right? These are people that I've been in the battle and trenches with, right? I can legitimately go to you and say, I trust you, right? And that's not to be over.
And guys, can we name 31-year-old wide receivers that are still good?
They're out there. Yeah, they're still. You can
We
be
just
productive
had-
at 31.
Devontae Adams.
We just have
How old is
we have
Devontae
the same
Adams?
conversation about Carmelo. It's the same thing, right?
Adams is 29, by the way.
Devontae Adams, he old.
He's
29. That's a big difference in wide receiver years.
Well, he missed some games. He was chilling. Like, I put it to you like this.
What's he doing?
He was chilling.
Okay.
He was posted up. He didn't do much. He wasn't even cutting grass. I think, but see, watch how this sounds.
Come on.
You got Amari Cooper on one side. You got Deandre Hopkins.
Ooh,
Amari Cooper gonna eat.
do it again.
He is.
You got Amari Cooper over here and DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm gonna roll with that.
These is route running savants. These do now all of a sudden you can't. What you gonna do? Third down? What you talking about? I got two guys that's gonna get open.
Gee, you may be right, but again, you guys are totally dismissing the fact that he could go over the cliff in a hurry.
He could.
Well,
What happened with Julio Jones?
hold on.
Over the cliff in a hurry.
Hold on.
What happened with AJ
Well, they
Green?
all do, though.
Over the cliff in a
Yeah,
hurry.
they all do.
And this is around the age that it happened.
But Bull,
It's
on the
good.
all-in theory that you that you
Yeah.
belong to,
We,
Deshaun Watson could go over the hill in a hurry.
yep.
Well,
we
here.
have to.
Anybody sitting in these
That's
seats
not a
can
good
go over the hill in a
We
minute,
already have.
right? Everybody in
That's
these
a
seats
bad
can
comparison.
go over the hill in
I'm
a
giving
minute.
you the history of receivers in their 30s.
I went over the hill
Carson
this
Wentz,
morning.
boom. He's not in his 30s. Gone.
Jay,
It happens.
I get it. but
RG3.
those are rarities,
Are they?
okay?
Well,
They
Wentz.
They're not so
RG3.
rare as you think.
They're not as rare as you think. Guys,
No.
all of a sudden, get old.
Those are bad comparisons.
Russell Wilson.
Those guys aren't bad because they're old. Deshaun Watson was elite his entire time in Houston.
Okay.
Carson Wentz wasn't in Philadelphia. Robert Griffin III played 1 year. Okay. Russell Wilson is significantly older than Watson. None of those are good examples. I'm telling you
It's
that
all
there
possible.
are no. Give me an example of a guy who at 31 still played at
So,
wide
so,
receiver.
so,
Can you name
in,
one?
so in professional
Yeah,
sports,
they're
be
out there.
clear, in professional sports, there are no guarantees, right? They're hedged bets.
Right.
All of them are hedged bets.
But this is a rarity that a guy is good at 31 at wide receiver. Can we name one? Mikey,
how old's
are you
Cooper
guys
Kupp?
looking?
I'm looking. This
we
Travis
name a
Kelce.
single
Travis
good
Kelce's
wide
a tight
receiver?
end.
Cooper
31?
Kupp is 30, I think.
If he's not 30, he's close.
close.
Who
So-
is?
Cooper
Cooper
Kupp.
Kupp.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's in his late 20s.
He's not.
That's a big difference.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Quickly. One day we was losing
Oh, so,
revenue.
so nobody can name a 31-year-old
I'm
receiver
just
that's any
gonna,
good.
I'm just
Nobody.
gonna, here's what I'm gonna give you.
Has it ever happened?
I'm sure it has.
Okay, because Jerry
but it's
Rice played in
rare.
the league and was pretty damn good at 40.
But
Well,
that's
sometimes-
an anomaly.
Sometimes when you running a business and you're the head of a business, yes, you don't have everything that you're going to be 100% guaranteed. But when you're losing money, it's like saying, I'm going to keep this on the menu and everyone loves it, but you still losing money.
You
you
guys
gotta
are
cut your
making
losses.
you
You
guys
gotta
are
cut your
making it
losses.
seem as if it's Hopkins or nothing. That's not the case.
no,
Do
that's
you know?
not.
Do you know what receiver led the league in receiving yards this year? Who started the season at the age of 30?
Who's that?
He finished 19th in the league. Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
So he was 19th,
Here's what you got to get.
and he's 30, not 31.
Here's what you're getting. You need to unlock other pieces of your team. He unlocks Amari Cooper. Now all of a sudden David Njoku is a little better
I
in the middle.
understand all of that. I'm
We're
just saying I'm
here-
not sure that's going to happen.
We're here because they missed on 2 wide receivers in the draft in the last 2 years
Yep.
in the
Right.
3rd round.
Yep.
That's why we're here.
That's why. I love that.
If Schwartz was any good, we're not asking this question. If Bell was any good, we're not asking this question.
So now we are here. We are all in. We have no time to wait on another young
I ain't got
receiver.
And we've gone 5 minutes with nobody being able to name a 31-year-old wide receiver that's good.
That's past.
Well, is DeAndre Hopkins good?
I don't know if he's still going to be
Because
good. Julio Jones was good, and then he had 31 and went off the cliff.
I am looking at DeAndre Hopkins as still a very good receiver.
Very good
I
how?
am.
Like top 10?
I don't know. I want to see him for a year,
I don't. First
obviously.
of all,
But
hold
yeah,
on.
when
First
we
of all,
last saw him, he was a top 10 receiver.
First of all,
He wasn't.
First
Not
of all,
last year.
First of
this
all,
last
But
full
he was
year.
29 years old,
First
and that's
of
a big
all,
difference.
I don't need him
So
to
you
be
cut every
top
receiver when they hit
10.
30?
I don't need him
No,
to be top
but you
10.
don't give up a lot of draft picks
I
to
need
trade
him to
one-
be good. That's all I need, right?
Here's
I
what-
have another good guy on the other side.
Yeah.
I need somebody to do
Thank
something
you.
else, right?
Thank you.
I can't depend on these
There's
young dudes.
other options.
And you know
There's
what?
better
I
options.
can't
I don't
depend on
trust
these
them to
young dudes.
find this guy in the draft.
No.
Because their track record is ass.
And here's the
So
thing.
is the track record of
Here's
31-year-old
the
wide
thing,
receivers.
Bull. I keep telling you.
Yeah.
You have a luxury. You see T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Tyler
Those
Boyd
guys are young.
weekly.
They're young.
Guess what?
Gee, I'm not arguing they got to get. Of course, they got to get a receiver. I don't think Hopkins is the right guy.
I think Hopkins is better than every option that they got available to him.
But we don't know what the options are available. Who knows who's willing to
That's
trade?
Who's a better
question
option
mark.
that we know is available right now? Who's a better
Well,
option?
we don't know that DeAndre Hopkins is available.
Well, he wants out. We know that.
Just because he wants out doesn't mean they're
Hey,
going to trade
no,
him.
They usually.
At the end of the
hey, if
day-
he wants out bad enough, maybe he'll restructure.
I'm just saying, you have to give up a lot to get him potentially, and he's 31 years old.
We're here.
I'd much rather call
Well,
the Seahawks about the.
I'm open to
DK
suggestions.
That goes back to this. You're on a Watson timeline here.
Tick,
With the
tick,
other
tick,
players,
tick,
it's
tick.
all
It's all
tick.
click.
We ain't got
Tick,
time. We ain't got time to be doing a whole
You
lot
got
of
six
measuring.
games.
Determined for 10 minutes, you guys can't name one 31-year-old good wide receiver, and yet you're all
That
totally
wasn't-
ignoring that.
That's not the purpose of the exercise, to name one 31-year-old
But that's the
receiver that's
point.
any good.
The odds
DeAndre
of-
Hopkins,
It
that's
is
the guy
good.
we're talking about. He's a good receiver. He's 31. I don't care about everybody
he
else.
hasn't played at 31. We don't know if he's good.
I'll take him.
I'll take
when
him.
I last saw him, with my eyes, I saw him. That dude can still do it.
and I'm going to take him.
So did Julio Jones the year before he went down.
We didn't
too.
get Julio
So did
Jones.
AJ Green the year before.
We
he
didn't
went
like AJ
down,
Green.
too.
Didn't want Julio. We wanted Julio when he was 22.
We want Hopkins.
Screwed that up.
Hopkins.
We wanted to do overtime.
Hopkins. Hopkins.
Viewer questions?
Viewer questions in overtime.
Viewer
yes, sir.
questions in overtime.
All right.